Hey guys, just doing another video on the IGS PGM. This one is specifically for recapping. I did do a video on recapping a chassis to drive a tube, but I thought I'd just do a quick one on the PGM, just because it's got a couple little things to note while you're doing it. This is an older revision board. If you've seen my other videos, which I highly recommend that you do, to give you a good background on the IGS PGM. So I'll just take the cart slot off, put him over there, and now we've got basically the motherboard to work on. Now if you have a look at this one, which you should be able to see, you can see here where the battery used to be, and you can see there's not much damage at all. There was hardly anything, and that's why if you have a look, the little cap's in the wrong spot here. So this is a Rev 5, and I normally don't recommend a Rev 5 because of the battery damage. This one was just really odd. Someone must have taken the battery off very early on. When I got it, it didn't have a battery, so I just cleaned it up. There was no problems with the battery at all because it wasn't there. Still got the 3rd and 4 player connector because it didn't get any corrosion on it at all. So for a Rev 5, it's very rare to find them like this. Yeah, they don't come around very often without battery damage. Normally they're a bin job, but this one's really good. Now, for desoldering, I recommend obviously a desoldering gun, like one of these guys here. This is a Hacko one. You can get copies of the earlier Hacko ones. I don't have the part numbers off the top of my head, but I know you can get them. They're in eBay. Yeah, they're common like that, so that's not a problem. I recommend something like this. I'm not sure how much the copies go for. If they went for like 100 US or maybe 125 US, I'd probably get one, because if you're going to get into any of this arcade stuff, you will need one of these for doing recapping and other electronic repairs and stuff. So this is the best way to go. This is what I use, and it works really well. But having said that, it's about 700 US dollars, which is a lot of money. So yeah, but I do really recommend it. It works really well. Now you can use just a hand pump, one of these little guys. I talked about this guy in the other videos that I've done. He is quite large, but it's good because it gives you a really good suction on it. It works really well. This is a J-Car item, but it's made by GOOT, G-O-O-T, model GS100. So you should probably be able to get these on eBay, probably get replacement tips as well, which I recommend that you do get. But this guy should be okay. I wouldn't recommend braid. The main reason is that these boards are 4 layers. So you've got tracks on both layers, obviously, top and bottom. So you can see all that, but in between in there, there'll be a full layer for ground and a full layer for power. And to get solder out of some of those, the vias, because obviously the vias go between, can be a little bit difficult because most caps are actually on the power lines. So you've got a big ground plane and a big power plane as well to suck out. Now, I was going to start with this guy here. He's the one that mostly leaks and kills the board because it leaks over these tracks. And I've actually, one of my repair videos, I go into that guy quite a bit. So I'll just do a couple of caps. I'm not going to do the whole thing because that'll get a little bit boring. But yeah, I just wanted to do just a quick video on it. Now, the actual spots where you solder to on this are actually quite small. So what I like to do is grab my soldering iron, grab some solder. Where are we? It should be just there. So it should be this guy, and just add a little ball of solder onto the top. And what will happen is that will help when you're using the desoldering gun or your hand pump, your solder sucker. It'll just help the heat to get in there a little bit better. So now I grab the desoldering gun. Put it on, let it heat up for a bit, and then suck it away. And that should be all you need to do. This guy should pop out. Come on. No, she needs a little bit more. Yep, okay, a little bit more on this side, I think. There we go. Had to give it a little bit of a twirl to get something that had a little bit of solder on the side. Sometimes you have to do that with the tip. Just give it a little round circle, and that helps to suck the solder from all the way around the actual pins. And so obviously here she is here. So she's out. Now, there are only 4 values of caps that you need to recap all the PGM motherboards. So the ones that you need a 10 microfarad 25 volt, a 47 microfarad 16 volt, 100 microfarad 16, and a 470 micro 16 volt as well. And they're the only ones that you'll actually need. Now this little guy should be a 470. Yeah, 470 16. 470 16. 470 16. So that'll be one of these guys here, which I don't have many left of because they're a very popular cap for quite different things. Now these legs need to be bent just a little bit so that they're flat. So just do that. Now, if you've got caps left over from another project and the height is okay, so this one, obviously this is a 470 16 volt. If you had a 25 or a 35 volt, but still 470, you could easily put that in. The only problem is it can't be too tall, because if it's too tall, when you put the case back on, the caps will hit the bottom of the case here, especially with the sound section. If they're too tall, it'll hit the plastic here, and then you won't be able to put the case back on. So you can use higher voltage caps. That's not a problem if you've got some left over from another project, but they can't be too tall. If they're too tall, you can't put the case back on, and then you're stuck. So all of these, the negative side is marked of the cap, which is the best way on the silk screens. Generally most stuff is negative, but sometimes they do mark the positive, so just be careful there. But all PGM motherboards, they should do the negative side. So you got the negative side on this guy, negative side on that, pop him in. If there was any, obviously if you're pulling this guy out and he's leaked a little bit, give him a good clean. I don't need to do that because he hasn't leaked out at all. There's no damage on there at all, so that's all good. So I can just pop this guy in, turn him over, bend his legs out a little bit, like that. We'll just solder him in. Okay, that's it for that guy. Just let it cool down for a little bit. Grab your little cutters and just snip that off. One leg. That's the other leg. And there we go. He's in. Now I always mark caps with a paint marker. Just to say, hey, I've done that one, so that if I ever look at this motherboard in the future and I'm like, oh, did I recap this one or not? I can't remember. You can just look for the colored in caps, and that'll tell you all about it. So that's basically it, guys. It's the same process for the rest of them. So just when you are actually desoldering them, as I said, add an extra little ball on the back. You'll find that most of these pads don't have a lot of solder on them, so you probably have to do that to all of them. Plus, it makes the heat transfer from your soldering iron or from your desoldering gun better as well. So that's also makes better success in actually getting enough solder out to actually be able to pull the cap out. So that's basically it, guys. I just want to do a little video on it. I do have on my webpage, I've got a cap map which tells you which ones are which. but there is enough room around them. You should be able to edge the board, move the board around, and you'll be able to see which are which. But yes, but you only need the 4 values, and then you can do any of the motherboards. They have the same cap values, but some of the caps move around a little bit. But that's, you know, that's not a problem. So there you go, guys. That's the basics of doing that. If you're not good with soldering, or you don't have all the right tools and you've got a friend that does, ask the friend to do it for you. Only do this if you've done, you know, quite a bit of experience in soldering. Otherwise, you'll damage the pads, you damage the wires, etc., etc. Anyway, thanks, guys. If you've got any more questions, send me an email, hit me up on my webpage, etc., etc. And I'll see you next time.